Hi, my name is Oscar and I'm a scientist. Today we're going to meet Salvatore, a viewer that will share with us his successful EB2 NIW petition process. We'll learn about his credentials as a pilot, we'll learn about his timeline and a few tips that he has to give to other petitioners like you. Salvatore, thank you so much for joining me today in this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start by asking, how did you get to know this EB2 NIW green card category?
Basically, I was looking for a way to get my, a green card. Basically, initially I was thinking about some work permit, something that will allow me to work in the States. I realized that in my field, basically, there's no company that will help any foreign worker to apply for the visa. So I started to look for other options, and I ran into this EB2 NIW, National Interest Waiver, and started doing some research, and I figured out that there were other cases, basically, that, even reading the government or state website, actually, you can figure it out that uh, you can fit in there even if you are not like a scientist or whatever, but if you have some sort of skills or ability. So I started investigating that.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm also glad that you're not a scientist case, so we can keep debunking that myth with you. So what is your field of occupation? Where are you now? Because I know you're not in the United States, so where are you going to come from in your case?
Okay, my field, I'm a pilot. I'm Italian. Probably you can understand from my accent, but as of right now, I live in Germany, and I work in Germany for temporary work in Germany. So I applied for the EB2 basically from here. Last time I was in the States, it was in 2014, because I lived in the States for a little bit, for like 3.5 years in the past.
Good. And later we're going to talk about your timeline, so I'll leave that question for now. So
Yeah.
it's always good to know that everyone is curious about time. But
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about your process again. A process in terms of, you already mentioned how you get to know this category. How did you educate yourself? What kind of resources did you find out there that help you with this?
Okay, I started to investigate a little bit, looking at the website, the official website, plus there are a bunch of YouTube videos with people trying to explain. There are a lot of lawyers that want to explain the difference in the NIW with the other type of visa and everything. But a lot of this, expert at the end, they will basically ask you, okay, contact me and we'll chat and we'll try to come up with the best way, the best solution. So I started to basically educate myself a little bit into the difference of the different visa and try to understand if I would qualify for this national interest waiver or not. I ran into a website specific for pilot, kind of advertising some sort of, okay, if you are a pilot, you want to work in the States, we can help you out. So I sent an email, started chatting with this guy, and we had a Zoom talk, yes, FaceTime. And it was actually a pilot waiting for his NIW to be approved as well. And he offered basically his advice through another lawyer. Basically, he said, "Okay, I know a lawyer, and she can help you out." And of course, gave me also the price. It's not cheap. So, and at that moment, I understood that basically, probably for my case, being over here, overseas, not really into that all that U.S. lawyer culture type of thing, I realized that probably a lawyer would be a better option for me. to, to have a professional, somebody to start doing the work for me. And fortunately, I have some U.S. citizens that work with me. Through friends, I end up to this kind of a very, very good lawyer, I have to say. I found this lawyer that is specialized into taxes and immigration. So I think it was probably the best choice for me.
That's good. So I think it's good to give people an idea of why one goes a do-it-yourself route or a lawyer route, and in your case, it's clear that it was through referrals, and you thought this is the best for your case, and that's actually a very good piece of advice. Like, each person should always evaluate what works for them, and each profile is very different, as we all know, so there's different solutions for different cases.
Yes. Especially because if you go to the official website, it's very focused on the if you're a scientist, if you publish some papers, if you publish some, all your work, you have some academic history or something like that. Yes, it gives you the idea that with some other ability you can apply, but it really doesn't give you that much confidence about. So in my case, I said, okay, I want to, discuss with a professional and see if my case actually is going to be worth it or not, pretty much.
Your case is highly specific because there's only so many pilots out there, right? It's not a huge profession in general. So now that you mentioned that, let's talk a little bit about what kind of evidence you and your lawyer used to establish your case. So if you don't mind, I'll walk through the different requirements or classes of requirements, and you share whatever you want to share about your case. So the first one is the general EB2 rule, where you have to establish either you have an advanced degree or you have exceptional ability. So which one did you use?
I have both. Because I have my advanced degree, because I have my university degree, plus I have 2 master degrees that I got through my career. So basically that part, let's say the academic part, was already there. Maybe not really specific into the, let's call it the scientific field, but it was still a university degree plus 2 master degrees. And on top of that, we put the evidence of the exceptional ability about, being a pilot. I got also my pilot rating back in the days in the United States. So it was something already recognized by the United States. So it wasn't something like, get into some other country that they might not trust or something like that. So they have, all my records and everything. So that part, I think, we cover both of them.
Okay.
For my case.
Yeah, which, by the way, side note for everyone, you don't need to do this. This is like overkill, but it's great. I mean, if you want to do it, you are free to do it. But in your case, you can choose one of them. And of course, if you have both, like you did, you can actually use everything that is exceptional for prong number 2, which I believe you probably also use that material for to establish that you are well positioned. But before getting into that one, let's talk about prong number 1, which is national importance, substantial marine national importance. So what did you argue about your profession and your profile that is important?
The entire discussion was initially explaining the importance of the aviation industry in the States. Basically, that covers a big chunk of their economy, pretty much. Basically, connected to that one, lately, especially after COVID, in the States, there is this, it's called the pilot shortage. So there are multiple causes of that, because they have a mandatory retirement, so there are a lot of pilots leaving the companies at 65 years old. Plus, they kind of facilitate some early retirement during COVID. Instead of furlough people, they let people go. So right now, all the industry is facing a lot of people leaving and not enough people joining, because during COVID, a lot of schools got stuck, they stopped producing pilots. So our argument was, okay, the airline industry is very important for the entire United States economy, and in this moment, it's hurting for the lack of pilots. So having some pilots from foreign country is actually going to be beneficial for the United States economy. The lawyer made a lot of research, and that's why I think in my case it was very good to have a lawyer, a very well prepared lawyer, because they end up doing a lot of research, getting a lot of article from newspaper article or from a specialized magazine about CEO of different company talking about this pilot shortage. Plus also the political level, the Congress level, a lot of politicians talking about how the economy is not progressing also, due to this pilot shortage and stuff like that.
And prong number 2 is how you are well positioned. I think you already covered a little bit because you talked about how you fulfill the exceptional ability route. So I guess it's something similar to that, right?
One of my evidence was I think the minimum is to show at least 10 years of experience. Actually, I got a letter from my current employer that I have, more than 20 years of experience. So that was another good factor for me. And so, yeah, that one. And I'm currently a pilot, so it's not that I'm looking for a job. I have my job, I can keep my job and everything. I'm just...
you can show your credentials. You're probably, I think pilots have a number of hours that they have flown. You probably have certifications, you have membership maybe in associations, right?
Yes, I have a membership association. Plus, during my time in the United States, I got my civilian license in the United States. It's called the FAA ATP Airline Transport Pilot license. That license, which basically I took for, something like, I don't want to say just to play a game, I took because, okay, it doesn't hurt me. I'm going to get it. Maybe one day I will use it. Yes. Maybe one day I will use it. And actually it was pretty, it was pretty good to put on my petition that I already have all the requirement to be hired by a civilian company in the States. So it's not that I go there and then I have to go through other courses or take other certification or whatever. I'm pretty much ready to go. So that was also another thing that, okay, is we can call it like plug and play type of, person.
Good. And okay, so let's talk about something that everyone loves, which is timeline. People want to know about how quick or how slow a process is. So I always talk about the time that it takes for you to start the research on the green card category and learning about it, then the time it takes, in your case, working with a lawyer to prepare the case, and then the time you waited for USCIS to take the decision.
Okay, I have to say that I started everything, I would say around August, middle of August, September, beginning of September of last year, so 2022. And when I say I started, basically, I mean the first contact with the lawyer. Okay, so once I found the lawyer, we basically started, chatting, and she was very helpful. And she basically asked, okay, send me all your documents, everything you have, you know, the, all the different degree, everything you think it might be applicable, and I will look at that, and then I can give you an idea if it's a good case, or if it's a maybe, probably will not even go for it. So I sent all the documents. Fortunately, a lot of documents were in Italian, but she speaks Spanish, so
Okay,
she
so
could
it's
a little bit understand. And with the quantity of documents and the quality, she said, "Okay, I think you have a pretty strong case." So basically, I spent the entire month of, let's say, September to middle of October, collecting all the documents, putting in a nice version, and then I would say around beginning of October, we start filling up the petition pretty much. So that the lawyer came up with some draft of the petition, back and forth, some adjustment. We filed at the end of October. Like the USCIS received my petition, which in total was 172 pages with all the attachment and everything. Received everything around, 24, 25th of October, something like that.
That's good because that was before the visa bulletin started showing a delay. So
Yeah. So filed over there, and the lawyer told me right away, hey, just we filed, forget about it, you know, you just don't think about your
live your
petition.
life.
What? Yes, live your life like in normal, and one day you might receive a phone call from me or an email or something that your case start moving somehow. My case was in Texas because you file everything for the office in Texas, and it stayed there for pretty much until middle of January. Premium processing was something that I asked the lawyer at the beginning. Hey, can we apply right away for the premium processing? But at that moment, it was not an option for the NIW for the new application, new file. So she told me, yes, as soon as we have the option, I'll let you know. I found that on the website that starting the January 30th, there will be an opening again for the NIW for premium processing. Now it's the funny part, really funny, because the lawyer prepared all the documents for the premium processing. I pay. So I send the money to the lawyer to pay my fees for the premium processing. And in January, yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's not cheap. And but on January 30th, when she was about to submit my premium processing and pay the fee, she received the same day an email from the USCIS that my I-140 was approved.
Nice. Well,
So
perfect timing.
perfect timing. Like a day later, I would lost $2,500, but that day, actually I saved my $2,500, and
Wow.
uh,
Double win, I guess.
yes, double win at that moment. So we had this. She told me, okay, now we need to wait for the official, the I-797 form, something like that,
The
which
notice of
is
action.
the notice that everything has been approved, which we received, I think, last week, beginning of last week, something like that. So basically 3 months from the moment we filed the USCIS received my petition to the moment that they actually approved it.
Really quick. That's really nice, and without premium processing. So yeah, you save that
Yes.
money too. And
Yes.
so you filed from abroad, so that's interesting because now you have to undergo consular processing. So what is your expectation? How long do you think, or your lawyer thinks, that is going to take?
And for expectation, I really don't know, okay, because the lawyer basically told me, okay, now we are waiting for the NVC, the National Visa Center, that they're going to send us the credential to start populating the DS-260 form, which I already check online some sample of the DS-260 just to see what kind of information they require and what kind of documents they require. There is a specific section about the civil documents that you have to upload. So I started to work on this civil documents. So I started to ask, the city house, the courthouse, whatever, because you need a lot of documents also for your background checks, that you are not a criminal, all the stuff, that you don't have any, anything against you. So I started to collect all this document, and now I try to look on the internet, and looks like there is not that much delay for the NVC to start my my stuff, but still, we're still waiting, because then this is what the lawyer told me, after the NVC, after the DS-260 is done with all the documents, they're going to schedule my embassy interview, which most probably will be in Naples, for what I understood. I have to go to Naples. Before that, there is also the medical check to the specific doctor. So that part is still, is kind of unknown to me. For the moment, I'm more focused on.
I can interject, and for people that are interested, I do have a video about consular processing. I'll leave a link right here for people to check. That's great. I mean, it's normal that you are not certain, because all this timeline is subject to a lot of different things, but your most important step is done. Your I-140 is approved. Now it's a matter of time. And so how, a little bit of a cheesy question, how is your life going to be impacted by getting this green card? What is going to be the impact on your life?
The toughest part is probably done, to get the I-140 approved. I don't have anything to hide, so I'm not expecting any problem, getting my background checks, so my embassy interview and stuff like that. Whenever I'm gonna have my green card, or I do the first entry, so physically having the green card, that is gonna be the moment where I have to decide. Before that moment, I will start to apply for some job overseas, some job in the States, and start to see to taste a little bit the atmosphere over there. If they start to offer me some good position, good jobs, and that I can really go there and with a good pay, I will most probably gonna go there. But it's gonna take a little bit of time because, of course, as I said before, I have my job right now. It's well paid. I really don't have that, the need to do more. But you want to have, you want to always progress. That was something I wanted to do, the green card, because I want to have an option. I still have, a lot of years to work ahead of me, and I want to have the option also to go to the other side.
Nice, the other side. I like that. So, okay, so the last thing I have on my list is anything that we left out that you think we should cover, or if you don't think of anything, do you have any tips that you want to give our viewers about the process?
Really not that much. I have to say that, I I I use also some letter of recommendation. One of the tips will be sometimes it's really not that easy to write something about yourself, but if you want somebody to write a letter of recommendation, it's probably a good idea to draft something for that someone and have it, tweak a little bit and sign it. It's probably a good idea to have somebody that know you personally to have that kind of a personal type of taste on the letter of recommendation instead of having some formal, statement like, okay, this, he achieved this, this, and this. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you have somebody that actually knows you a little bit personally, it's probably a little bit better. This is what the lawyer every time told me. It's better to have somebody personal.
And I would add that this is not the time to be humble. I think most of us really don't love to say too many good things about ourselves and it's not exaggerate, but really paint our picture so bright and positive. But this is the time to not be humble, because these recommendation letters have to be very strong. They have to be very solid and leave no doubt, right?
Yes. And as I said at the beginning, of course, I don't want to discourage anybody to go on, and prepare the petition on their own and everything. But it's the way the lawyer prepared my petition basically was that way. There's any possible question that the employer, the USCIS could have, it was already answered in that petition right away. So there was no room for doubt about that one. I don't know if I got only lucky but in my opinion, it was really, really well written.
Yeah, I like that these two first conversations I'm having is with people that use a lawyer, because the channel is mostly for do-it-yourself applicants.
Yes.
And I always feel that I'm giving a somewhat negative, I don't mean it, of course, but a negative comment on lawyers, and I definitely don't mean it. I think in some cases they are for sure useful. I've seen cases of lawyers also not doing a great job. I also have to say that, but I'm really glad listening to you and the other day to Alfred and see how there are really good professionals out there.
Yes. I had to say that this lawyer, a friend of mine, knew this lawyer from when they were at school, and he told me basically, okay, don't worry, she's going to look at your case and she's not going to take your money if the case is not strong. Okay. So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of lawyers out there that they will say, oh yeah, you have a good chance. They take your money, they take a little bit of some documents, and then of course you get rejected for whatever reason because they didn't apply that much attention to details or stuff like that. So yes, as you said, it's there are good and bad things.
So I think a good tip that I took from you without being said explicitly is, if you go with a lawyer, make sure you know that person. In your case, you use referrals, so you knew this lawyer, that this lawyer was going to be good for you, right?
Yes. Yeah. If you look over the internet, you find a lot of lawyers. Everybody everybody ready to help you. Yes.
Awesome.
For a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, lawyers are very expensive. So, I mean,
yes.
of course, in this channel and on my website, I provide a lot of resources for people that can't pay a lawyer or don't want to pay a lawyer. And now I created this online course for people to learn about the process. But everyone should know that there are the two options. you can do one thing or the other, and it's really up to the person. And people sometimes get annoyed at my answers because I'm always like, well, it depends. It depends on what you want to do, what your case is, what your profile is. There are a lot of subjective things about this green card process.
Yes, yes, yes. And this is also what the lawyer told me at the beginning. This is probably one of the biggest problem. You might think you have very strong case because you have exceptional ability, you publish a lot of papers, you are very good in your field. But on the other side, there is another human being that is going to evaluate your case, and it can be whatever. Okay, probably now there is a lot of pressure of getting all the backlog out and everything. So yes, I'm sure they evaluate a lot because I know the people in the United States, but that's there always can be the guy on the other side that really for whatever reason kind of push it back because for evidence and stuff like that is gonna
I like that comment that it's a human, so it's a human process, and I have to add that they also have a very limited amount of time to review your case. So you said earlier you had 200 pages submitted, and these people maybe they have, I think on average what I read the other day on an official USCIS document is that they spend something like 40 or 60 minutes it was. So that's a big limitation.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely.
Good. So anything else that we should add, or are we good?
No, I think right now, I keep my finger crossed to have, some news for the, continuing. But other than that, I really cannot help you anymore for anything because right now I don't know anything more.
Yeah. Now it's about waiting to get that welcome letter from the MVC. So I also cross my fingers so you get that soon and your process continues. You get the final approval. And and thank you so much for joining me. It's good that we are both in Europe. This is our evening. So thank you for giving me 1 hour of your evening, me and everyone who is watching. So thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Anytime.
If you want to learn more about this EB2 NIW category, check out my website eb2niw.info, where you can also find an online course that will walk you through all the steps that you need to craft a solid and successful EB2 NIW petition. Good luck.